Why should you name contingent beneficiaries in your will or revocable living trust? Hi, I'm attorney Steve Reilly, and today I want to talk to you about the benefit of naming contingent beneficiaries in your will or revocable living trust. And what I mean by that is beneficiaries in addition to your immediate family. So in other words, if a person comes in and they sign a will that says, I give everything over to my spouse, and if my spouse is not alive, I give everything over to my children. And if one child is not alive, then perhaps the people have stepping up of grandchildren into the shoes of their parent, and so on, or not. But what sometimes happens, and I see wills that don't deal with the situation, is what happens if, God forbid, you're in an accident where all your children are present and your spouse is also present. Sometimes I call these the Disneyland or Disney World wills. And that is when people contact me at the 11th hour and they say, Steve, what happens if all of us go down in a plane accident? And by the way, I'm going to Disneyland with my wife, my children, my mother, my sister, her children, and so on. And it then becomes even more complicated. Then it's almost as if the only advice I can give them, if it's that late of a time frame, is to go on separate planes and avoid the situation entirely. Absent that, it's a good idea to name contingent beneficiaries in your will, so that in the event, God forbid, such an occurrence should happen, that this is the way you wanted your estate to go, whether it be to certain other kinds of relatives or whether or not to be specific charities and so on. If you don't do that, then the law will imply who you wanted it to go to. So it won't be your choice, it will be the state's choice as to who is your next immediate relative and who gets it. Now, you may want that. You may want your next immediate relatives to get it. But in the event that you don't, you need to have reference in your will or revocable living trust to contingent beneficiary. Another big reason to do that is because then you don't have to come back to change it yet. In other words, if you, all you'd have to do is contact me and ask about your will and say, look, does it cover this particular situation that occurs? And then I can tell you that it did. So you avoid the expense of having to update your will when that time comes that you'll be doing that. Naturally, if you have a family where everybody's spread out, where people are all over the country, and the likelihood of you having everybody in the same car or everybody on the same plane is very low, then the risk of that may be very low as well, and you may not have to do that. But otherwise, it's a good idea to come up with a circumstance where you have the named contingent beneficiary or contingent beneficiaries in your will or revocable living trust. If you like this information, please consider giving a thumbs up or subscribing to this channel in order to gain access to future videos or have notification of future videos by clicking on that little bell. Well, thanks for watching and have a great day.